Hey guys, Ycoms here, and finally welcome back to League Racing on my channel. These are the highlights from the new AOR season on F1 2017. So first season for AOR on this new game, season 14 already. It's quite a number of seasons, I have to say. A quick introduction into the season, maybe, you know, if you're not really familiar with this kind of setting. Basically, I'm driving on the PC platform once again for the season, PC F1 as it's now called, not PC Split 1 anymore. Yeah, I have to say, I feel like I say this every season, but I feel like as well, like the grids in these seasons are getting better and better season by season. People are just getting better and better and better. And yeah, the grid for on the PC platform is absolutely insane. We have a couple of, you know, people who are coming back, a couple of AOR and ARL legends even from the old website coming back. For example, ACR Raven is back, who also did some races in season 12, I think. And we obviously have Kerry, Kez as well back for this season. But I mean, you will see these names a little bit, you know, later on in the season. Worth mentioning, I guess, is that I'm driving the Force India for this season, and my teammate is obviously going to be AOR Fizzy once again. That is not really a surprise, to be honest. And yeah, first round, obviously Melbourne. It feels like, you know, every single time is a very, very special race. I don't know, I feel very, very different compared to other league races. It just feels different compared to other normal league races, because it's just, you know, you have to get into, you obviously want to have a good start to the season, getting to learn new drivers, racing new drivers, and yeah, it's always on a brand new game as well, so you don't really know where you are standing against all these other guys. But anyway, let's have a look at our qualifying lap. We're already on our first line lap here in the final, in our final run. And going on to the second lap here into the first corner. Very, very, very good. They're nailing the apex without cutting and extending. That's very, very crucial around this track to keep it within the white lines. Going down into turn 3, a little bit too deep, I have to say, but still managing to rotate the car here to get a good exit out of turn 4. A little bit down on in the first sector on my previous lap, which was pretty good anyway, I have to say. But we are purple in the first sector. Well, you know, faster than anyone else in the first sector. Also then Formula Danny, who's currently sitting in pole position, coming down into the Clark chicane. Very, very tricky, staying in 4th gear, trying to avoid the inside curb there, which we now managed pretty nicely, and we actually gained quite a lot of time in the second sector here on our previous lap. Almost a 10th up now, coming into turn 11 and 12, a little bit too late there on the apex on turn 11, which compromised our exit into turn 12, but nothing too major. Lost maybe a 10th into turn 13. We go into 4th gear, pretty good exit out of there. This corner's not quite flat, going down into 5th once again. Now these last couple of corners are very, very tricky indeed. A little bit of the apex there once again, but managing to rotate the car back onto this final corner, and that is a pretty good lap, I have to say. It's gonna be a slight improvement at 21.202, which is not too far off really from what I was doing in practice, and it is enough for P2 on the grid. So definitely a very, very good opening qualifying session for me at the start of this season. It is AOR Formula Danny, which is a new guy obviously in these kind of leagues, but he is very, very, very fast. He's also competed in the F1 esports series in London, so he's definitely someone to watch out for the whole season, I have to say. Tim is also a new driver, Riker Gordon in 4th, that is RS Falcon from the Xbox, and you can see Fizzy down in 15th place. Not really a good qualifying session for him. Anyway, it was a pretty competitive qualifying session, I have to say, but let's see how we do in the race. Strategy is definitely interesting. I was planning to do ultra soft, super soft, which is definitely possible, and I feel like this is definitely the better strategy for me, because I was able to, you know, just make these super softs last for these 19 laps if I pit on lap 10. So that was definitely a more viable option for me than going on to the softs earlier on and having the undercut, but just, you know, not really the pace in the early part of that second stint. So it's definitely, you know, and maybe something different compared to some of the other guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how that really plans out. But obviously, now concentrating on the start, trying to, you know, not lose any front wings and, you know, just be cautious in the first couple of corners and then see how it goes on there and see how the pace of the other guys are. And here we are then, Season 14 on the AOR F1 League's PC F1 is underway with 5 lights, and right now we're trying to get a pretty good launch, a little bit of wheel stand, brilliant stuff from AOR. Tim there around the outside into turn 1. We are cutting the first corner actually. A little bit scared, you know, that he would turn in. There was definitely room for 2 cars, but I wasn't quite sure about that, so oopala, I am backed out of that one, and a little bit of warping going on there for Tim. I think that caught out Falcon behind us, or Ryko Gordon behind us, and I think he has got some damage actually from that, so that's very, very unfortunate. Raven up into 4th position now, so okay start. Obviously lost the position to Tim, which definitely had the best start out of the top 4 really. Absolutely ridiculous launch from him, I have to say. And obviously now trying to stay with these guys. Obviously not really that easy to follow in the dirty air and to overtake as well, with the slipstream not being powerful at all on this game, which I personally like. I feel like sometimes it's a little bit too exaggerated with, you know, less slipstream and stuff like that. Sometimes it's, you know, on the occasions it should be a little bit more easier to pass, but definitely around a track like Australia, where, you know, and especially if you are similar on pace, it's just really, really, really difficult to get anywhere near the back of the car in front of you. So staying within, like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10s, getting DRS and stuff is basically the best you can do, to just hope for your opponent to make mistakes. And Formula coming across the line, he's already trying to pull away, really, and you know, he has been someone I definitely had on the cards for this first race, because he was incredibly quick in time trial and also in practice, really, I have to say. So definitely someone which I, you know, thought would be very, very quick, and obviously Raven behind is someone to watch out for as well during the whole season. Hopefully he will have a little bit more luck than he had, you know, in season 12, where he also pulled out because of connection issues. Obviously, he is from the US, so sometimes can be a little bit tricky. But yeah, so far trying just to get into a rhythm, trying to keep it with Tim, which I think we are doing quite nicely. To keep it in the DRS, and then yes, just see how the tire wear is, and see how, you know, if the strategy that we planned actually works. Obviously we also had 2 laps on these set of tires, so that's definitely not that helpful in terms of tire wear towards the end of that first thing. It's a little bit of a mistake there from Tim, and that's going to give us huge understeer through that corner. That's exactly what I was talking about with the dirty air on this game. It's absolutely ridiculous sometimes, and yeah, that gave us, I guess, actually gave us the 2nd warning already for track limits on this. On the 2nd lap, and we really have to, you know, try to keep our cool head now down and not getting more warnings. Otherwise, we, you know, obviously gonna get a penalty, and that probably will harm us quite a bit, really. At the end of the race, skipping to lap 3, you can see Danny is absolutely pulling away like a madman. I think his gap is already like what, 2-3 seconds or something. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, 3.2 seconds the engineer says here. And yeah, it seems like that Tim, Raven and me are pulling away from the rest of the field. There has been some incidents. Oh, Balat, that's Tim warping back. So I was not really, you know, expecting to be that close. It seems like a little bit of, you know, a lag going on between Tim and me at the moment. But that caught me a little bit out there. But he just left a little bit of space there in case I wanted to go up the side. I didn't really want to, but yeah, that's, you know, was a little bit unexpected, I have to say. But yeah, there were some incidents really at the start of the race. You can also see that some cars were all over the place. So the connection was not that good in this lobby. So yeah, not really that good, I have to say, compared towards the end of the field. I think Fizzy also had a terrible start to the race. That is Raven out of the session. That is very, very unfortunate. I think he also had a lag, or like a screen freeze, like a couple of seconds before he disconnected. So that's just very, very unfortunate, because he was definitely looking very, very good in the race, in 4th, and could have challenged for a podium position or something like that later on in the race. So that is very, very unfortunate for him. as he was, and that means actually both Williams cars are already out. As you might have seen, Kez already retired his car at the start of lap 2, I think it was already. So both Williams cars already out with 2 AOR or ARL legends. That is very, very unfortunate for this season opener. We're skipping on to lap 8. Tip going into the pits. We were able to keep it with him quite nicely. I was not quite happy with my pace, to be honest. Maybe like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 tenths slower than what I was doing in practice maybe. But that's maybe also due to the extra tire wear I, you know, took in qualifying by doing that second lap. And yeah, now we have like, I don't know, 4 seconds gap to Formula Danny, I think it was. So that is quite a bit after 8 laps really. He was half a second, well, he was more than half a second quicker the first few laps. Then he dropped down a little bit. I think maybe he used quite a bit of fuel, I don't know. And at the end of lap 9, he is actually diving into pits, and we are going on. We are now going for another lap. 58% on the tires. That's not too bad, but I feel like, I don't know, the drop off on these ultra is quite heavy. So definitely this in lap here is pretty crucial. A little bit of a slide there through turn 1, managing to recover it nicely to be early on the throttle on the exit. Yeah, we're definitely trying to keep it very, very cautious on this lap, not to make any mistakes. And obviously we will lose quite a bit of time to the guys who went for the undercut, but we had quite a big gap to the group behind, which was actually Arox and Topa, both Finnish drivers. And the gap basically maintained there at 3 seconds roughly, so that's not too bad. Seems like our DRS is broken. That doesn't really matter too much at the moment. Could be a little bit more costly later on in the race. We will see. And so far, the lap is not too bad. Definitely, like, you can feel just the understeer and the lack of traction I have. Especially this corner is absolutely ridiculous. This section here, a little bit wide as well. Losing a little bit of time as well to Arox behind. So definitely, this is the lap where we have to pit. And going as scheduled on to the super soft tires to see what we can do. And in the second half of this race, we definitely should be stronger. I feel like, you know, I think there's already a trend in the esports race as well, esports races as well in the league championship, that I'm not that particularly good on the first set of tires. Can we slow it down? Yes, we can. But I'm you know, kind of better in the second set of tires, and especially towards the end of a race. So hopefully that is going to help us a little bit to, you know, just make up some time that we potentially lost now in the pit stop phase. Let's see where we're coming out. That is Danny going through, and that is Tim going through right there. So we definitely lost, I don't know, 2 seconds maybe, 2-3 seconds. So, I mean, not too bad. Like, we have pretty much clean air, and Tim is right ahead of us as well. Kaelon doesn't attack us into this corner. Kaelon has not pitted yet. Yes, he does not. So that's very kind of him. And yeah, we are now currently in P5, but in net P3, I would assume so anyway, unless someone undercut a Timp as well, which I don't think happened. And yeah, gap to Tim, 2.6 seconds, so we definitely lost like, I don't know, 2 seconds on these 2 laps, so that's basically what I expected really to lose. Hopefully we can make up that time in the next few laps, and we need to, if we want to make any passes, we need to make it earlier on in the stint, obviously, because at the end of the stint the softs are getting better and better and better, and the super softs are getting worse and worse and worse. And so yeah, we're definitely trying to do that, and you can see there in the lap 12, definitely catching up to a train there. That's Afro, very wide. He's rejoined the track, and that is a front wing end plate gone. Not that major damage, I have to say, so maybe that's not going to affect us too much, but it's definitely very, very annoying as that rejump from Afro definitely caught me out quite a bit. It was not, you know, the smartest thing really from me there as well. Could have gone definitely tighter into the corner, be a little bit more cautious, but it just completely caught me out there, and that has given us some damage on the front right end plate. And let's see how this damage will affect us during the you know, second half of this race. Really, is because it's I still drive 26 laps on these tires, a little bit wide there as well. And you have to adjust. This definitely makes a little bit of a difference, it seems like, at the moment. And oh, very wide here as well. Yeah, there's definitely understeer everywhere here, really, with this front wing end plate missing, which is kind of weird because on the indicator it only was, you know, light green. which basically makes I don't know, the previous game it was like 2/10, 3/10 difference maybe in lap times. It seems like a little bit more at the moment. And into 11 and 12 we go. You can see just the understeer and how much less speed we can carry through there. So it's definitely affecting us quite a bit. We're skipping on to lap 18. And look at the gap to Tim and Formula. Actually, Tim was able to catch Formula Danny because I don't even know, but because he caught Formula Danny, and we are nowhere near where we should be. 6 seconds we lost in these 4 laps, and we are technically on the better tires at the moment. And Arox is now coming in a Mercedes up and down. We're going defensive on the inside, and he has completely overshot that corner. I think on his screen I tapped him in the back, but as you can see, I did not on my end. So that was a little bit of lag going on there as well. Definitely another lag incident type of thing. But we are pretty much helpless really with this front wing damage at the moment. We are losing over a second a lap. I can tell you I was doing mid 24s, high 24s at the start of the second stint on these super softs normally, and now I'm doing high 25s, 26s even sometimes. So probably even 26s, easily 26s. So that is just really annoying, and especially since this stint is so long, I have to drive obviously like 16 laps or something with this damage, which is not gonna help us at all. And basically we are now probably gonna get overtaken by Turpa pretty soon, and probably by Arox as well once he recovers really from his from that unfortunate stuff what happened there at turn 3. You can see there we can't really pull away from Turpa, even though we don't have any dirty air really out of the final corner. He's pretty close, and he's actually going up the inside, which I did not expect at all. Not sure why, I just did not expect that. Turned in. Luckily, no major impact. I'm going defensive once again into up the inside, but he still tried to go up the inside there, so we have to leave him the room a little bit. Very aggressive overtaking a little attempted by Turpa, but he made it stick around the outside in turn 4 as well. And now we are, we can't really do much about it. And probably he will pull away quite a bit in the next few corners. There we go. Also missing the apex there quite a bit. But yeah, as I said before, we cannot do anything really except our best with this damage, and try to salvage as many points as possible, because our race for I don't know, podium positions and potentially for a P2 or P1 is basically ruined by now. I realized that pretty early, I think, in this second stint. That's not a good turn 12 as well, I have to say, with a little corner out there. It's definitely something which I struggle a little bit more as well, track limits with this damage, because of all the different, car physics or whatever on the steer that affected me. And you can see just how much Turpa is pulling away, and Arox actually is now right behind us as well once again, and he's even closer than Turpa was on this straight, and I'm not even bothered going defensive. He's just going up the inside here, and I'm probably going to brake a little bit earlier. There we go, and he's up the inside, and he's made the move mistake, and that's us down into P5. And yeah, now we have to focus basically to see where the gap is, but what the gap is behind. That's a little bit late on the brakes, I have to say. A little bit close there from to Arox, but it was all right. And let's see, maybe we can get the... No, we can't get the gap to Ram, because we can see on lap 28 it doesn't really matter, because he caught us on lap 28. I think non-runner as well. Some of the returning drivers from season 12. The only one who beat Tyranno Tigger in one or the other occasion in season 12. So it's definitely someone to watch out for this season as well. And as a Marek going out of the way, someone from season 12 as well, who was very fast on that game on F1 2016, and Ram obviously, which we know pretty well on from season 13, is now right behind us. And obviously now we don't even have we have the damage, but we also have the worst tires at this point, because definitely the softs after 18 laps on these super softs are definitely the super softs are not, the best tires to be on anymore. So it's going to be interesting if we can actually defend from Ram here for the final lap, and at least salvage P5. That would be an achievement, I would say, after these 16 laps with front wing damage. And this corner is even not quite flat. Well, this corner was only nearly flat out, really, or just about flat out. It seems like Ram is not really gaining too much here in these type of corners as well. So it seems like he's not maybe also having problems with tire wear and stuff like that. So, but now turn 11 and 12 comes up, so there we will definitely have to you know, definitely will lose time. We have to get a good exit out of turn 12 to potentially defend. You can see Ram very, very close. We're going straight to the inside, going defensive, just to cover anything off. Can we slow it down in 4th gear? Yes, pretty good exit as well. Ram going for the switchback, that's not gonna help him as Formula Danny wins the first race of the season, going defensive into that corner as well. That was not really necessary, I think, but it just did it anyway. And coming round the final corner now, that's a good exit out of there. We also have enough fuel, quite a lot of fuel actually still, and that's us salvaging P5 in front of Ram and non-runner, which is pretty much the best thing I could have done, really. You can see the podium there. There is Formula Danny winning the race in front of Timp, and Tip, I think, maintained a position in front of Arox, who obviously dropped behind him after that lag incident which occurred between me and him at turn 3 on lap, I can't remember, 17, 18, 19, I don't know, something like that. But yeah, as an opener of the season, obviously it is always, you know, good to score points, but 10 points doesn't really feel right considering the pace was done so much better. But still though, it was pretty much the best thing I could have done after I got the damage. I can't really blame anyone else really than myself really for getting the damage, because it was me who drove into Afro's car in the end. And actually Afro got well, Fizzy will get a point in the end, even though he had a terrible start to the race. Because Afro's stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane did not get applied, so he will drop down a position. You will see that in a little bit as well in the Drivers' Championship standings. And yeah, as I said, P5 not too bad. I'm very quickly going to show my lap times as well. You can just see 26s and 27s on the super softs. That is just atrocious, really. And there we go. Drivers' Championship is basically the same as the race result, apart from Fizzy getting that position of Afro. And yeah, there's not much really to say about that. Maybe worth mentioning P11 to 20, because you didn't really see much of that. Raven and Kerry obviously not finishing the race. Max retiring early on. Demon, Marek, I think disconnecting. And RBK not getting any points, which is unfortunate for him. And the constructors, you can see Mercedes leading ahead of Haas. Mercedes with Arox and Turpa with a very, very strong team result. And after the first round, we are in 4th, which is not, you know, it doesn't really say much at this stage, because, you know, at the start of season 13 we were like, I don't know, 8th or 9th or something, and at some point during season 13 we had like a 50-point lead to P2, so it doesn't really matter. First round, getting some points on the board is always nice. And yeah, I will see you for the next race, which is actually for the channel is going to be Bahrain, because unfortunately my recording failed for the China race, which is unfortunate because it was actually quite a fun race, to be honest. But yeah, I will let you know the results if you don't already know for that in the Bahrain video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.